The boy didn't think the guard could hear him, but the guard's voice cut through the heavy silence like a blade. If you knew the weight I carry, you wouldn't laugh. Those words froze the group of 4 teenagers where they stood, laughter dying in their throats as the cold morning air around the tomb of the unknown soldier grew painfully quiet. Hours earlier, people had begun gathering near the memorial, wrapped in scarves, whispering respectfully as the changing of the guard approached. Marble gleamed under a soft winter sun, and the crisp scent of pine drifted from the nearby trees. Everything felt heavy, sacred, and serene, except for the teens who walked in like they owned the place. At the front of the group was Ethan, tall, confident, the kind of kid who believed rules were made for other people. His expensive jacket, flashy watch, and swagger told the world he was untouchable. Behind him trailed his friends, all laughing loudly, each trying to impress the others. And standing 20 feet away, perfectly still, was the man they didn't yet understand. The tomb guard, sentinel of silence, a figure carved from discipline and grief. His uniform was immaculate, shoes shining like obsidian, every movement precise. His face remained expressionless, but his eyes, those dark, unwavering eyes, held the stillness of a man carved out of pain and loyalty. Ethan nudged his friend and smirked. Look at this guy. Bet he's just doing it for TikTok. A few heads turned. A couple tourists frowned. But Ethan laughed louder, tapping his phone screen, zooming in on the soldier's still face. What kind of job is this anyway, he said. Standing like a statue for hours? Easy. His friends chuckled. The guard did not move. But the air shifted. Something unseen, something ancient, seemed to grow heavier around them. Ethan stepped closer, boots scraping against the stone, his voice dripping arrogance. Hey, do you blink? Or is that against the rules too? A few gasps rippled through the crowd. A child pulled on her mother's sleeve, whispering, "Why is he being mean to the soldier?" Still, the guard did not react. But the officer nearby, the relief commander, began taking slow, deliberate steps toward the teenagers, face tightening. Ethan's friends nudged him. Dude, chill. But Ethan wasn't done. He stepped even closer, phone raised to record. That's when the guard moved. Not much, just a shift of the rifle, the faintest motion, but it cracked through the air like thunder. The crowd stiffened. Ethan stumbled back a half step, startled. And then, quietly, firmly, the guard spoke. You will show respect. The words weren't loud, yet they carried an authority that felt heavier than any yell. Ethan blinked, suddenly unsure. His voice faltered. Relax, man. We were just. But the guard wasn't looking at him. He was staring past him, through him, as if seeing something Ethan couldn't begin to comprehend. It was Ethan's friend, Lucas, who whispered first. Dude, let's just go. But Ethan scoffed. It's just some guy in a uniform. The guard slowly turned his head, just enough to lock eyes with Ethan. And something in that gaze made the world fall silent. When I stand here, the guard said, I stand for those who can no longer stand for themselves. His voice didn't waver. Not once. Not ever. The teens looked confused, even annoyed. So he continued, each word tumbling out like stone onto sacred ground. My brother was 18 when he deployed. He didn't make it back. A ripple of cold air blew through the courtyard. He asked me one thing before he left. Look after them for me. The crowd watched, breathless. Ethan swallowed hard. The guard's eyes drifted for a moment to the tomb behind him. Them, he said softly, is everyone who lies here. Every name we'll never know. Every family that didn't get to say goodbye. The guard's jaw tightened. I keep my promise every day, every hour, every step. Ethan's friends lowered their phones. Their shoulders slumped. Something inside them was shifting, quietly, painfully. But Ethan still held onto a sliver of ego. Look, man, I didn't know. No, the guard said. You didn't. It wasn't anger. It wasn't humiliation. It was truth. A truth too heavy for a young heart to grasp in an instant. The guard continued, but now you do. And knowing carries responsibility. Ethan looked down. We didn't mean to disrespect anyone. For a moment, the guard didn't speak. Then, unexpectedly, his voice softened. None of us do. Not at first. Ethan raised his head. The guard's gaze held something unexpected. Not anger. Not superiority. Something human. I was arrogant once, the guard said quietly. Before I understood loss. Before I understood sacrifice. Before I understood what duty truly meant. The teens listened, silent. No laughter. No bravado. Just the slow, dawning realization of how small their mockery had been in the presence of something so much larger than themselves. Ethan's eyes glistened. I'm sorry, he whispered. The guard nodded once. A gesture of acceptance. Not forgiveness, something deeper. Carry your respect beyond this place, he said. That's how we honor them. Ethan stepped back, his posture changed, shoulders lower, breath shaky. He felt smaller, but not in a way that hurt. In a way that healed. As the guard resumed his position, the world seemed to exhale. The wind softened. The sun broke through a thin cloud, casting a warm glow across the marble. The crowd stood still for a moment longer, absorbing the quiet lesson they had all witnessed. Ethan turned to his friends, voice barely above a whisper. That guy, he taught me more in 2 minutes than school did in years. They nodded, each of them realizing they would leave this place different from how they arrived. Some places do that. Some people do that. And as the guard marched in his disciplined, measured steps, rifle glinting under the morning light, Ethan whispered, "Respect, it's not just something you give. It's something you learn." The courtyard remained peaceful, solemn, sacred, because sometimes the loudest truths come from the quietest men. And sometimes laughter dies not because of fear, but because of understanding. If this story moved you, subscribe for more powerful stories and comment your country below. Sometimes the quietest people carry the loudest truths.